Yo, what is up everybody, and welcome back to another Madden 17 online game. The penultimate episode for the 32 team preview series for the upcoming NFL season features the Buffalo Bills. Is this finally the year that the Buffalo Bills return to the playoffs? It has been so long for these poor Buffalo fans since they've seen their squad in playoff football, playing meaningful January games. And the last couple of years, they've been pretty close. If a couple of things went the Bills' way, they could have ended this long playoff drought, but, of course, they haven't, and now they entered this year with a pretty interesting looking roster. It's not a team that you look at and say, oh man, they're going to be one of the top teams in the AFC, but it's also not a team that you look at and say, oh, they're probably going to be competing for a top 5 pick in the draft, because there's a lot of things the Bills have going good for them on their roster. It's just a very interesting makeup. And we start off at the head coach position because, they fired Rex Ryan, they let him go, he's doing television now, and they brought in Sean McDermott, the former defensive coordinator for the Carolina Panthers, and they're hoping he could bring some of that magic to the Buffalo Bills. And the Panthers had an embarrassment of riches on the defensive side of football, having so much talent. This Buffalo Bills team, meanwhile, they've lost a lot of talent in the offseason. They lost their leading tackler last season in Zach Brown. They lost their leading sack getter in Lorenzo Alexander. And they lost arguably their best secondary player in Stephon Gilmore. So these are some big names that they've lost. And on top of that, they lost, a couple of other contributors like Corey Graham. Mario Williams has been gone. Actually, Mario Williams might have been gone for 2 seasons now. My bad. I think he's been on the Dolphins last year too. But, they lost a lot of key people. They lost Roby Coleman. They let him go. So there's a lot of new pieces coming into this Buffalo defense, and it was a defense that really struggled against the run last year. The secondary was pretty good, but against the run they've struggled badly. And it's really weird that they struggled against the run because they had Marcel Darius, they had Kyle Williams, and they had Zach Brown playing really good, but it's just that the rest of these dudes weren't really, helping out too much, and as a result, they were getting torched pretty hard on the ground. Their secondary, was pretty good. They had a good cornerback duo in Stephon Gilmore and Ronald Darby. Darby, kind of took a step back a little bit last year from his really impressive rookie season, and now he's expected to be the #1 corner on this Bills team. So we'll see how that works out, and we'll see who's going to be starting opposed to Ronald Darby. It's probably going to be White, the first-round pick out of LSU. That's most likely going to be the guy opposed to him. So, if he could bring some positive contributions for that Bills team, then the secondary could be pretty decent. They got Micah Hyde, and I always thought Micah Hyde was a pretty solid contributor for Green Bay for years. So that was a pretty good signing for them. We'll see who. I really don't know who else is going to be in their secondary. That's kind of the problem. And one of the things to go over the Bills is, we could go over their draft this year, but their draft last year is also a thing to go over because they spent their first 3 picks on defensive players, and especially their first 2 draft picks. They barely played in any games. Shaq Lawson was injured at the start of the year. He started on the PUP list. And Reggie Ragland, he didn't even play at all, their 2nd-round pick. So both of these guys, Ragland's basically redshirting this year. And Shaq Lawson, maybe he wasn't even 100%. Who knows? We'll see what he could bring. So it's almost like they had some extra draft picks coming in this year in a way. So Lawson, Ragland, definitely hoping Ragland's the guy at the middle linebacker spot since they couldn't pay Zach Brown. And overall, just hoping that they could find something to improve the run defense. The 3rd-round pick last year, Washington, we'll see if he gets more playing time. We'll see if he can help out with those guys. But now we got to flip to the offensive side of the football for the Buffalo Bills. So the defensive side, a little bit questionable this season. We'll definitely have to see if they can improve their running game and if the secondary can hold up with all these changes, as well as, the pass rush. We got to see if they can get a pass rush. Like I said, Lorenzo Alexander, 12.5 sacks off the board. He's gone. So we go to the offense side of the ball, and the Bills had by far the best rushing attack in the NFL last season as far as, total yards gained, yards per carry. They had pretty good offensive line, run-heavy scheme with Rex Ryan. You guys know Rex Ryan loves to run that football, loves to control that clock, and, keep his defense fresh at all times. But he's gone now, so we'll see if a new head coach brings a new mentality for this team. They should be able to run the football once again this year. LaShawn McCoy's been around for a while, but until he stops contributing positively, it's, we just got to expect LaShawn McCoy to do his thing and do really good this season once again. Run behind a pretty decent offensive line. It's not, killer offensive line. Just, the right tackle position's been a question for a while now. But, they got Richie Incognito's had a career renaissance. They got John Miller at the right guard spot that they drafted a couple of years ago, and he's been pretty solid for them. They got Cordy Glenn, who's been a good left tackle for them for a while now. And that's cool. The running game is really good for the Buffalo Bills, and the only thing you worry about is the depth behind LaShawn McCoy. Gillisley is gone now, so don't really, and Reggie Bush is gone. The Bills always seem to have depth at the running back position, but this year not so much. It's just really LaShawn McCoy, and McCoy was pretty healthy last season, but you always got to worry about those injuries when it comes to LaShawn McCoy. Always leaving games midway sometimes, so the Bills, hopefully they can find someone to help contribute in that rushing game, and then the passing game. That is the big question for the Buffalo Bills. The good news about the Bills passing game is that they really don't turn the ball over. Tyrod Taylor is very good about not turning that ball over. The bad news is they really don't get much done in the air, and maybe that's because they run the football too much, and it kind of takes the quarterback out the game. That could be something that happens, but at the same time, though, the Bills just don't have an elite passing offense, and sometimes that holds them back in games where maybe their defense isn't putting up big time numbers and they have to abandon the run game, go to the passing game, and that's sometimes where the Bills struggle to win those kind of games. So that's something that we definitely need to see from Tyrod Taylor this year, because Tyrod, like I said, he's really smart about not turning the football over. He does a good job of leaving the pocket when he has to, and not just because he can, because he's a mobile quarterback. But at the same time, there's also some limitations to Tyrod Taylor's game that need to improve at some point if he's going to continue being the franchise guy for the Buffalo Bills. Now, I like the way Tyrod has played so far in his Buffalo Bills career, But, like I said, at a certain point, you got to take that next step. Now, having Sammy Watkins healthy for a full season would be fantastic for the Bills. Watkins has been in and out the lineup for years now, so if they could have Sammy Watkins, that would be big time, because he's a big time talent, and last year injuries held him back a little bit. He wasn't 100% even when he played, so hopefully they have him. But outside that, at the wide receiver spot's a little bit questionable. They got Zay Jones, early second-round pick, and we'll see what he brings to the table, because he's probably going to have to be a starter. So they got some big receivers on this team, because they also have Andre Holmes. So they have a lot of tall receivers on this team, and we'll see how they can spread that football around. And it's not too much depth in this wide receiving core. They're hoping someone breaks out amongst this group, because like I said, besides Sammy Watkins, no big names. They have Charles Clay at the tight end spot, and Clay, he's been quietly a pretty good contributor for this Bills team. So, the Bills on paper, like I said, it's just a very interesting makeup, and a lot of it depends on just, of a couple of pieces fall the Bills' way. They can make a playoff push. The Bills do have a little bit of a tough schedule. We've gone through the AFC East, and the AFC East goes against the AFC West this season. The AFC West is very, very tough, and they also go against the NFC South, also a very hard division. So that's going to be scrapping and clawing to try to get some W's. The Bills kind of catch a break this year because the Dolphins are, going to be facing the Ryan Tannehill injury, and we'll see how that makes out for them. The Jets are pretty much tanking the year. So, besides the Patriots, these other division games could be 4 W's to start off, and they could put together a couple of wins outside of their division. Well, 3 or 4, I should say. I shouldn't just guarantee victories. But, you get 3 or 4 victories inside your division, and then you put together a couple of wins. Then maybe you make a playoff push. I just, I don't think the Bills have what it takes to make that playoff push. There's a lot of teams in that AFC West that really will be competing, and I think the AFC North as well will have teams competing for a wild card spot. So I don't think the Bills will be there, because I'll just say it now. I think the Patriots are going to win the division, but I think like they're close, but I just don't think they had that next step, and I feel like they lost too many big time names on the defensive end of the football, and they don't have enough pieces coming in to replace those big time names. So I mean, like I said, if things go right for the Buffalo Bills, they can make the playoffs. I think that's something that can realistically happen, but I think the Bills are more of a 7-9 or 8-8 team once again this year. So, I mean, let me know what you guys think in the comment section, Bills fans. If you guys think that, last year's draft picks along with this year's draft picks can really impact this squad, let me know, because, let me know who you guys think could really step up to the table this year, because, the Bills definitely had some bad injury luck last year, so maybe with some better luck this year, they can, turn things around. Maybe with a better head coach that brings a new philosophy, and they can keep that running game up and improve the passing game. Things can go right for the Bills. So let me know what you guys think, Bills fans. Everyone else, let me know what you guys think about the Bills this season. Leave a like on the video if you guys enjoyed it. Subscribe for more, and I will catch you guys next time.